Listen to me. There are moments in life when you realize that where you are is not where you're meant to be. You look at your bank account, your business, your effort, and you whisper to yourself, this can't be it. You work hard, you stay late, you push, you dream, you hustle. And yet it feels like something invisible keeps pulling you down. You are moving, but not rising. You are building, but not breaking through. You are close, but not crossing over. That's not a coincidence. That's a system. There is a reason so many people stay below a certain level. There is a reason why you can make a little progress, but never sustain it. There is a reason why you can touch success, but not hold it. And today, I want to talk to you about that invisible ceiling, the barrier that keeps you stuck below 100K, not just in your money, but in your mind, your spirit, and your discipline. Because if you are not growing in your mind, no amount of money can change your life. Hear me, you cannot rise above the level of your belief. You cannot grow beyond the quality of your thinking. You cannot attract what you constantly resist with fear, doubt, and small vision. So many people think they need more strategies, more clients, more luck. But what they really need is a new spirit, a new posture, a new mental environment. Let me tell you something. The battle for your financial destiny is not outside you, it is within you. You can attend every seminar. You can watch every success video. You can even start 5 different businesses. But if your mind is still programmed to survive instead of prosper, you will sabotage every opportunity that tries to lift you. Some of you have been working hard, yet deep inside, you carry a belief that says, I'm not meant for wealth. You have normalized struggle so deeply that when ease starts to come, you push it away because it feels unfamiliar. You think discomfort means progress and peace means laziness. But that's a lie. Listen, there is a difference between effort and alignment. Many people are busy, but not aligned. Many people are sweating, but not sowing. They are doing much, but not doing what matters. When your mind is not renewed, you confuse motion for momentum. You think because you are active, you are advancing. But you are just running in circles, working hard, but returning to the same level every year. That is the curse of the average. That is what keeps people below the line. And today, I came to tell you, it's time to break that cycle. You were not created to stay below. You were not born to just pay bills and wait for the weekend. You were designed to multiply, to dominate, to rise. But the system of small thinking has trapped you. The system says, be realistic. The system says, don't dream too big. The system says, people like you don't make it. And many of you have believed that voice. That voice has become your law. It whispers every time you think of doing something bold. It tells you you're not ready. It says, you're not enough. And because you believe it, you keep proving it right. But today I declare it ends. You see, breaking the 100K ceiling is not about income, it's about identity. It's not about making more, it's about becoming more. You can't make 100,000 with a $10 mindset. You can't operate at 6 figures while thinking like a survivor. The problem is not your idea. The problem is your internal thermostat. You can only earn to the level of what your identity can handle. That's why some people make money and lose it fast. It's not because they're cursed. It's because their mind was never expanded to carry abundance. You can't hold what you don't believe you deserve. Listen. Poverty is not just lack of money. Poverty is the acceptance of limitation. It's the agreement you've made with average. It's the comfort you've made with just enough. You've said, at least I'm surviving. But survival is not success. Survival is the lowest form of existence. You were not called to survive. You were called to reign. And you can't reign while you're still reasoning like a slave. The person who will break through is not the one who knows more. It's the one who believes differently. Many of you pray for financial breakthrough, but you don't prepare for it. You say, God, give me abundance. But when He gives you an idea, you delay. When He gives you a connection, you doubt. When He gives you a responsibility, you complain. That's how most people miss their season. They are praying for a door, but when it opens, they don't walk through because they still think like someone who doesn't belong there. Your breakthrough doesn't come when you see it. It comes when you believe it. If you're stuck below 100K, it's not your potential that's the problem. It's your pattern. You've built habits that serve your old life, not your next one. You spend like you're trying to feel rich instead of investing like you're becoming rich. You chase trends instead of mastering principles. You seek comfort instead of consistency. That's why nothing shifts, because your actions and your ambitions are in conflict. You can't say you want abundance, but keep making decisions from fear. You can't say you want freedom, but keep living like a prisoner to distraction, to people's opinions, to laziness. If you want to rise, you must confront yourself. The first battle you must win is not in the market, it's in your mirror. Look at that reflection and ask, am I living like the person I'm trying to become? Because the truth is, most people are not. They are waiting for success to make them disciplined. They are waiting for money to make them confident. They are waiting for the result to create belief. But it doesn't work like that. Discipline comes before abundance. Belief comes before result. Consistency comes before growth. You have to act like the person you are becoming even before you see the evidence. That is how you attract new levels. That is how you reset your identity. Stop calling yourself broke. Stop saying, I can't afford that. Stop saying, maybe next year. Every word you speak builds a wall or breaks one. Words are spiritual forces. They shape atmosphere. They program your subconscious. You can't declare poverty all week and expect prosperity on Sunday. You must learn to speak life, speak abundance, speak expansion, not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. Say to yourself, I am rising. I am capable. I am wise with money. I am disciplined. I am worthy of success. Because until you believe it, you will keep rejecting opportunities that could prove it. Listen, there is a principle that governs financial elevation. It's called stewardship. You can't manage little, you can't multiply much. The reason some of you are still below 100K is not because you're unlucky, but because you waste seed. When money enters your hand, it must have a mission. Every dollar should have an assignment. But what do most people do? They spend without direction. They buy validation. They chase appearance. That's not growth. That's decay dressed as progress. You don't need more money to become disciplined. You need more discipline to attract more money. If you don't respect the 100, you won't respect 10,000. Money is not the master, it's a mirror. It reflects your values, not your dreams. The question is, what do your spending habits say about your mindset? Do you invest in things that grow you, or do you escape into things that distract you? Do you plant in knowledge, or do you water insecurity? If you're still below 100K, it's time to take responsibility. Not shame, not guilt, but ownership. Because the moment you take ownership, you take power. No one is coming to rescue you. The rescue is already in your routine. What you do daily reveals what you truly believe. If you keep repeating yesterday's actions, don't expect tomorrow's blessings. You want new results. Change your rhythm. Wake up earlier. Plan your day. Protect your focus. Stop scrolling and start building. Stop talking about ideas and start executing them. Success is not an event. It's a lifestyle. You don't reach 6 figures by accident. You reach it by alignment. And hear this, money doesn't flow to the most talented. It flows to the most trusted. Can you be trusted with consistency? Can you be trusted with persistence? Can you be trusted to stay focused when no one is clapping for you? If you can't be faithful in the dark, you will never handle the light. Many of you are waiting for recognition before you perform. But the truth is, your preparation must precede your promotion. There's a season where no one will notice you, and that's the season that builds you. Don't despise small beginnings. The seed always looks insignificant before it multiplies. But if you keep watering it with belief, with work, with persistence, it must grow. The laws of growth cannot lie. So stop asking, when will I make it? and start asking, am I planting daily? Stop saying, I need a miracle, and start saying, I need mastery. Miracles happen for those who are ready to manage them. If you want to break past 100K, build structure, build systems, build habits that make success automatic. Don't depend on motivation, it fades. Depend on structure, it sustains. Stop starting over every week. Stay with something long enough for it to multiply. The biggest enemy of success is distraction dressed as opportunity. You can't say yes to everything. You can't chase 10 things and expect mastery in one. Focus. Focus is the bridge between potential and prosperity. Choose what matters most and give it your all. And don't stop when it gets hard, because it will get hard. Every new level comes with resistance. Every breakthrough requires pressure. That's not punishment, it's preparation. When you feel stuck, it means something inside you is expanding. The old version of you is being stretched to create room for the new one. Don't quit in the middle of your stretching. Pain is the proof of growth. So if you're struggling, if you're tired, if you feel like you've been working with no result, hear me. It's not over. You're closer than you think. Your consistency is building compound results that you cannot yet see. Keep sowing, keep showing up, keep believing, because soon what felt like delay will reveal itself as preparation. There is a moment where everything shifts, a moment when all the seeds you planted in silence start breaking through the ground. And when that happens, no one will understand how quickly you rose. But you will know. You will remember the nights you cried, the days you worked, the moments you almost gave up, but didn't. That is when you realize you were never stuck. You were being shaped. So today, decide that this is the last season you will live below your potential. Decide that from this day forward, you will think like a leader, not a laborer. Decide that you will act like a steward, not a spender. Decide that you will rise, not just in money, but in mastery. Because once your mind expands, your finances must follow. Once your spirit aligns, your results must respond. You are not small. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are being built. The delay was discipline. The waiting was wisdom. The struggle was shaping. Now it's your time. Stop doubting what's already inside you. Stop lowering your standards to match your surroundings. Stop waiting for permission to rise. You don't need permission. You need decision. The moment you decide, heaven aligns. The moment you commit, opportunities start to find you. The moment you believe, life begins to obey you. So if you're stuck below 100K, don't chase the number. Chase the version of you that can handle it. Because when you become that person, the money becomes a byproduct. The wealth is not in your wallet, it's in your wisdom. The real breakthrough is not in the digits, it's in your discipline. And when you finally understand that, when you stop fighting for limitations and start preparing for elevation, nothing can stop you. You look back and realize that every struggle was a seed. Every failure was a foundation. Every setback was a setup. And you'll say to yourself, now I understand. I was never stuck. I was just being strengthened. So rise with vision, rise with purpose, rise with faith. Because the only thing standing between you and abundance is the version of you that refuses to evolve. Break that version. Step out of that shell. You were not made for less. You were made for more. And today, your season of almost ends. You've been circling the same mountain too long. It's time to ascend. Lift your eyes. Lift your standards. Lift your effort. Lift your expectation. Because as you think higher, you rise higher. As you believe deeper, you receive greater. And soon, when people ask you, how did you do it? You'll smile and say, I stopped trying to make money, and I started becoming the person money belongs to. That is the key. That is the shift. That is the awakening. If you're stuck below 100K, watch this moment in your life. Because this is the day everything begins to change. Understood. Below is your 3,000 word live, style TB Joshua inspired expansion of the keynote. 2. The version of you that will break 6 figures already exists, but it's buried under your excuses. Hidden beneath layers of delay, hesitation, fear, and comfort sits a version of you that knows what to do, but hasn't been allowed to do it. It's not that you don't know how to rise, it's that you keep explaining why you can't. Every time you say, I'll start next week, that version of you waits a little longer in silence. Every time you say, I'm not ready, that version sighs, knowing you are. You are not waiting for your breakthrough. Your breakthrough is waiting for you to stop hiding behind reasons that sound wise, but are really rooted in fear. The greatest enemy of destiny is not lack of opportunity. It's the abundance of excuses. Excuses are comfortable. They give you the illusion of progress while you stay still. They make you feel logical while they keep you limited. You tell yourself stories to justify why you haven't done what you know you must do. And those stories become chains dressed as wisdom. You say you're tired, but you scroll for hours. You say you're broke, but you invest nothing in growth. You say you're confused, but you haven't sat in silence long enough to hear clarity. It's not confusion, it's avoidance. It's not lack of opportunity, it's fear of responsibility. The version of you that can lead, that can earn, that can multiply is still there, strong, awake, capable. But it's trapped under the comfort of your excuses. You talk about your dreams, but do you really believe them? You post about success, but do you live like it's yours? There's a part of you that wants to be free, but there's another part that wants to stay safe. And the truth is, those two parts are at war. One wants to evolve, the other wants to protect your ego. The version of you that will break 6 figures doesn't argue for limitations. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need applause. It just moves. It just acts. It just decides. But the you that speaks loudest right now is the one that keeps saying, what if? What if I fail? What if I lose money? What if people laugh? You never ask, what if I win? What if it works? What if this is my moment? Fear has trained you to see danger where destiny is calling. Every excuse has a root, and that root is usually insecurity. You don't think you're ready, so you wait. You don't think you're enough, so you shrink. You don't think you're worthy, so you settle. But readiness doesn't come before action. It's born from it. Confidence doesn't precede courage. It's built by it. The person you're meant to be is not waiting for perfect conditions. That person is forged in the middle of imperfect obedience. You can't think your way into greatness. You must act your way into it. The gap between who you are and who you're meant to be is filled with excuses you've believed for too long. Excuses sound like, I don't have time. But the truth is, you don't manage your time, you waste it. You give your best hours to distractions and your tired moments to your purpose. You think you're too busy, but you're just undisciplined. You're not short on time, you're short on priorities. The 6-figure version of you knows what to say no to. It knows when to focus, when to rest, when to grind. The lower version of you keeps saying yes to everything and calling it loyalty. You're not stuck because of lack of opportunity. You're stuck because you won't make room for what matters most. Excuses sound like, I don't have money. But you don't need money to start. You need creativity, faith, and persistence. Most of what keeps you broke is not what you earn, but what you ignore. You ignore chances because they're small. You ignore ideas because they seem slow. You ignore discipline because it feels dull. The 6-figure you invests in knowledge, in systems, in networks. The limited you invests in comfort, appearance, and validation. Every dollar you waste is a vote for your excuses. Every moment you waste is a seed you refuse to plant. Excuses sound like, I'm waiting for the right time. But time doesn't become right. You make it right. There is no perfect season. There is only now. The world doesn't wait for the prepared. It rewards the persistent. Opportunities don't arrive when you're comfortable. They appear when you're courageous. The version of you that breaks 6 figures doesn't need motivation every morning. It's built on conviction. Conviction is stronger than feeling. Conviction doesn't depend on how you feel. It depends on who you've decided to become. You say you're tired of being broke. But are you tired enough to change? You say you want freedom, but do you want it enough to fight your habits? Because your habits are your true beliefs made visible. You say you want success, but you live like comfort is the goal. Every action either feeds your excuses or your evolution. You cannot serve both. The six-figure version of you is disciplined, focused, relentless. It doesn't react to emotion. It responds to vision. It doesn't chase results. It builds rhythm. Deep inside, you already know what to do. You know what needs to stop, what needs to start, what needs to change. But you've become an expert at postponing. You call it waiting for clarity, but clarity doesn't come before commitment. You're afraid of doing it wrong, so you do nothing at all. You think stillness will protect you, but it's killing your potential slowly. The world doesn't reward ideas, it rewards implementation. The reason the next level feels far is because you keep waiting for courage instead of creating it through motion. That version of you, the one who executes, who acts, who leads, is buried under layers of procrastination and pride. Pride that says, I know what I'm doing, even when you don't. Pride that says, I'll start when it's perfect, even when perfect never comes. Pride that says, I don't need help, even when you're drowning silently. You have mastered the art of appearing busy, but avoiding real change. You read, you listen, you take notes, but you never apply, and you wonder why nothing shifts. Information without transformation creates frustration. You don't need more advice, you need more application. The six-figure version of you doesn't complain. It calculates. It doesn't justify, it adjusts. It doesn't hope, it executes. It doesn't wait to feel ready, it creates readiness through repetition. You become confident by acting while uncertain. You become capable by moving before you're qualified. That's how growth happens, by stretching your limits, not staying within them. Every time you delay, you reinforce your disbelief. You're telling your future, I don't trust myself enough to begin. But the truth is, you've always been enough. You just haven't believed it long enough to see it work. Your excuses are sophisticated lies dressed in reason. They sound mature, but they are manipulations of fear. You've convinced yourself that safety is success. You think staying in control is wisdom, but real wisdom is trusting your capacity to grow beyond what you currently handle. The six-figure you is not born from comfort, it's born from courage. It comes alive the moment you do the thing you've been avoiding. Every time you avoid discomfort, you choose delay. Every time you choose delay, you lose momentum. Momentum is the currency of growth, and you've been spending it on hesitation. Look at your life and be honest. How much of what you call waiting is really fear of exposure? You say you're not ready to show up, But deep down, you're afraid people will see your flaws. You say you're not ready to launch, but you're afraid no one will support you. You're not waiting for timing. You're hiding from judgment. The version of you that breaks six figures doesn't care who doubts. It only cares who decides. It knows that results silence critics faster than arguments. It doesn't seek validation, it seeks mastery. It understands that growth is lonely at first, but rewarding later. You cannot carry excuses and excellence at the same time. One must die for the other to live. Every breakthrough demands a burial. Something has to end. Your laziness, your inconsistency, your perfectionism, your endless preparation. You keep saying you're getting ready, but ready people move. You're not preparing, you're postponing. You're hiding behind productivity that doesn't produce. You make plans instead of progress, and the clock keeps ticking. The future doesn't wait for the hesitant. It rewards the bold. There's a version of you that wakes up early, that focuses deeply, that executes relentlessly. You've seen glimpses of that version when urgency hits you. You've felt its fire after a motivational moment. But then the excuses return, and that version goes quiet again. You can't meet your higher self if you keep entertaining your lower habits. The struggle is not between you and others. It's between you and the you that refuses to grow. Every morning you wake up with a choice to repeat your excuses or to release them. Growth doesn't ask for permission. It demands participation. You can't think your way into a new life. You must walk into it one uncomfortable step at a time. The six-figure version of you does not need new conditions. It needs a new commitment. The moment you stop negotiating with your potential, your transformation begins. Stop telling yourself you need motivation. You don't need motivation, you need movement. Action produces inspiration, not the other way around. You've already seen enough to know what's possible. You've watched others rise. You've heard stories of people who started smaller with less and still broke through. The difference wasn't intelligence, it was decision. They decided their excuses would no longer define them. They decided that discomfort was a signal, not a stop sign. They decided that failure was feedback, not finality. You are not behind. You are simply hesitating in a place you were never meant to stay. When you finally confront your excuses, you'll discover how small they actually are. They were never walls, only shadows. Shadows grow bigger when the light is dim, and your excuses have power only when your vision is weak. Strengthen your vision, and your fears will shrink. The six-figure version of you doesn't look for easy. It looks for effective. It doesn't chase convenience. It chases capacity. It's not addicted to motivation. It's addicted to mastery. There's a reason the breakthrough feels heavy. It's because you're still dragging your excuses with you. You can't climb while holding on to comfort. You can't soar while carrying self-pity. You can't multiply while entertaining mediocrity. You have to choose. Keep your excuses or claim your evolution. You can't have both. The moment you release your excuses, everything that's been waiting for you will rush in. You'll see opportunities that were invisible. You'll attract people who match your new energy. You'll move with authority instead of anxiety. The six-figure you is already within reach. It's not a different person. It's a disciplined version of the same person. It thinks sharper, moves faster, believes deeper. It uses pressure as power. It doesn't seek pity. It seeks progress. That version doesn't live in fantasy. It lives in focus. And that focus is already inside you, waiting for the noise of excuses to die down. You can't step into abundance while defending limitation. You can't speak success while thinking scarcity. The six-figure version of you has learned to silence the inner voice that always says, "Not yet." That voice has lied long enough. It told you to wait until you're smarter, until you're richer, until you're certain. But the truth is, you become smarter by starting. You become richer by risking. You become certain by continuing. Every day you delay, that powerful version of you fades a little deeper beneath the surface. You don't need a new life. You need to access the part of you that's already built for it. The discipline, the drive, the strategy, the wisdom, they're already in you. They've just been buried under comfort, under fear, under doubt. Life will test you until you decide you're done making excuses. The moment you take radical ownership of your results, the six-figure version of you begins to surface. It won't come through more learning. It will come through more doing. It won't come from wishing. It will come from working. It won't come through talking. It will come through transforming. You are not waiting for opportunity. You are waiting for the courage to stop lying to yourself. Excuses are lies you tell to protect your comfort zone. You've told them so many times. You've started believing them. But you were never average. You were never meant to live small. You've just been negotiating with your potential because you feared responsibility. True freedom doesn't come from ease. It comes from mastery. And mastery demands sacrifice. It demands that you stop repeating the same day and calling it progress. There's a fire inside you that knows it's time. You feel it when you're quiet. You sense it when you see others win. It's not jealousy. It's recognition. It's your higher self reminding you of what's possible. That voice keeps whispering, you can do more. But every time you reach for it, your excuses whisper louder. Not now. Those two voices have been battling for years. One wants growth, the other wants comfort. The one you feed is the one that will rule you. feed your discipline, feed your belief, starve your excuses. Because the version of you that will break 6 figures is not far away. It's right behind the decision you keep postponing. Every moment you choose discipline over distraction, you dig that version out. Every time you follow through on your word, you pull that version closer. Every time you keep going after failure, you resurrect that version. The 6-figure version of you already exists. It doesn't need to be created. It needs to be uncovered. It's not waiting for permission. It's waiting for execution. It's not hiding from you. It's hidden by you. And the moment you stop explaining why you can't and start proving why you can, that version will finally breathe again. Your circle determines your ceiling. Who surrounds you determines how far you will go. The people closest to you are not neutral. They are either ladders or lids. You can pray for breakthrough. You can work for success. You can fast for increase. But if you are surrounded by people who think small, speak fear, and live average, you will stay trapped under the level of their limitation. Every destiny carries a sound, and whoever you walk with will tune your life to their frequency. You cannot fly with eagles while feeding with pigeons. You cannot rise to 6 figures while reasoning with people who are comfortable at 0 growth. Many people wonder why they never rise, why they keep repeating cycles of struggle, delay, and mediocrity. It is not always because they lack effort. It is because they are surrounded by voices that normalize average. When your environment is infected with limitation, your vision becomes contaminated. You start lowering your standards to keep peace. You start shrinking your dreams to stay accepted. You start pretending you're fine when you're actually frustrated, all because you fear being different. The moment you start apologizing for wanting more, you have already agreed to live below your potential. Your circle is the incubator of your identity. Spend enough time with fearful people, and you will begin to doubt your own courage. Stay too long among the lazy, and you will begin to find excuses for your own inconsistency. Energy transfers. Belief is contagious. If you walk with those who speak faith, something inside you begins to awaken. But if you walk with those who only complain, you will slowly sink into the same pit they call comfort. You think you are being loyal, but what you are really being is limited. Loyalty to limitation is not love. It is self-sabotage disguised as friendship. Look around you. Who do you spend your hours with? Who do you share your dreams with? Who do you call when you feel discouraged? Because those voices are shaping your atmosphere. You become what you consistently hear. When you surround yourself with people who talk about lack, your subconscious begins to build walls of scarcity. When you spend time with people who talk about expansion, your mind begins to stretch. The difference between stagnation and acceleration is often the sound in your surroundings. You will never outgrow the conversations you tolerate. You are the average of the 5 people you listen to the most. Not just who you talk to, but who you allow to speak into your spirit. You think you are independent, but you are influenced. Your decisions, your risk tolerance, your mindset, they all echo the beliefs of your environment. When you share your goals with people who don't understand them, they will project their fear onto your vision. They will call your dreams unrealistic, not because they are impossible, but because they themselves stopped believing a long time ago. And if you are not careful, you will inherit their disbelief. Every time you spend time with people who have no hunger, your fire starts to dim. Every time you argue with those who have no direction, your purpose starts to blur. You can't stay sharp in a dull environment. Iron sharpens iron, but wood dulls metal. If you are always the sharpest in your circle has already become your cage. You need people who challenge your comfort, who make you uncomfortable with your excuses, who hold you accountable to your potential. Growth doesn't happen in agreement. It happens in friction. The circle you keep today is the prophecy of your tomorrow. You can tell where someone is going by looking at who they are walking with. When you keep company with people who speak small, you will shrink to fit their comfort zone. When you stay close to people who think big, you will stretch to match their standard. The human spirit mirrors its surroundings. That is why the poor stay poor together and the wise rise together. One group talks about people, the other talks about principles. One group talks about problems, the other talks about possibilities. Choose your side carefully. If your friends are comfortable with where you are in the wrong room. Real friends should push you, not pacify you. They should see your potential and refuse to let you settle for less. They should remind you who you are when you forget. The wrong circle will make you question your worth, while the right circle will make you question your limits. The wrong circle will make you feel guilty for dreaming, while the right circle will make you feel convicted for wasting your gift. The wrong circle drains you, the right circle disciplines you. You can't expect elevation while you stay in association with people who reject transformation. Association brings assimilation. If you sit long enough in mediocrity, you will begin to defend it. If you walk long enough with procrastinators, you will begin to justify delay. People don't change you overnight. They shift you slowly through repetition. You start talking like them, reasoning like them, responding like them. You adopt their language, then their limits. It's not sudden, it's subtle. That's how destiny is diluted, not by storms, but by slow conformity. Sometimes the battle isn't between good and bad people, it's between the right and the right. Now people, Some people were right for your last level, but they cannot walk with you into the next one. They were good for your survival, but not for your success. They supported you when you were broken, but they can't handle you when you begin to build. You keep trying to drag everyone with you, but not everyone has the stamina for your next stage. It's not rejection, it's redirection. Some people must be loved from a distance so that your destiny can breathe again. You can't climb with companions who are afraid of heights. When you start rising, their fear will pull you down. They will question your pace, your motives, your decisions. They will tell you to slow down, not because they care about your rest, but because your progress exposes their passivity. Your light will make their shadows uncomfortable. That is why you must choose people who see your light as inspiration, not competition. Real builders celebrate other builders. Real visionaries respect other visions. If they get jealous when you rise, they were never your allies, only your audience. Many of you are stuck not because you lack ability, but because you are loyal to circles that no longer align with your destiny. You are afraid to outgrow them because you fear being alone. But solitude is not loneliness. It is separation for transformation. Every great transition begins in isolation. There are seasons where you must walk alone to redefine your rhythm. Don't be afraid to distance yourself from noise so you can hear your next instruction. Silence is not punishment, it's preparation. Sometimes God hides you from your circle so you can heal from your cycle. There is power in environment. A seed planted in dry soil cannot grow, no matter how good its potential. You might be gifted, but if you are planted among gossip, doubt, and laziness, your gift will suffocate. The soil must match the seed. The circle must match the calling. If your environment doesn't challenge your habits, it will choke your harvest. Your circle should fertilize your focus, not drain it. The right people will water your purpose. The wrong ones will wash it away. When you start to change, your circle will test your commitment. They will call you proud because you no longer participate in meaningless talk. They will call you distant because you no longer waste time. They will say you've changed, and they're right. You have changed. You've grown tired of pretending that mediocrity is friendship. Growth offends the stagnant. Elevation exposes insecurity. But you cannot apologize for becoming serious about your destiny. You cannot shrink to make others comfortable. You cannot stay small to keep their peace. You owe them love, not limitation. You must discern the difference between connection and covenant. Some people are connected to your comfort, not your calling. As long as you are available for their drama, they stay close. But the moment you start focusing on purpose, they disappear. That's how you know they were never part of your assignment. They were part of your distraction. Stop trying to fix loyalty where God has revealed limitation. Some people are not bad. They're just not built for your next dimension. Bless them, release them, and move forward. Your circle determines what becomes normal to you. When you walk with people who talk about growth, discipline, and faith, excellence becomes your default. But when you surround yourself with people who gossip, complain, and procrastinate, mediocrity becomes acceptable. The atmosphere of your circle sets the thermostat of your destiny. You will either rise to match their faith or fall to match their fear. Every conversation is a seed. Every relationship is a soil. If you don't choose intentionally, you will grow weeds instead of wisdom. Some of you are trying to break financial barriers while living among people who fear abundance. You can't discuss vision with those who celebrate survival. They won't understand your hunger because they've built comfort around scarcity. Their advice will sound reasonable, but it's rooted in fear. They will tell you to play safe, but safety has no fruit. Safety builds walls, faith builds wings. Choose people who talk possibilities, not limitations. Surround yourself with doers, dreamers, and disciplined thinkers. Your environment should stretch you until excellence becomes effortless. Every destiny requires alignment. Even the greatest talent dies in the wrong tribe. David needed mighty men. Moses needed Aaron. Jesus chose 12. No one succeeds in isolation, but everyone rises by association. You need mentors who challenge you, peers who sharpen you, and proteges who remind you of responsibility. You need voices above you, beside you, and behind you. Without these, your gift becomes an echo chamber. A great circle multiplies wisdom, but a wrong one multiplies weakness. You cannot receive new instruction while entertaining old influences. The six-figure version of you has a different conversation rhythm. It talks strategy, not gossip. It discusses growth, not grudges. It invests in silence more than spectacle. When you enter that circle, you feel both humbled and hungry. You see what's possible and realize how much more you can become. That is how the right circle elevates you. It doesn't flatter you, it provokes you. It doesn't compete, it collaborates. If you stay too long in small circles, you start mistaking noise for progress. You begin to think business is purpose, but it's not. Progress is not motion, it's direction. Your circle should point you toward destiny, not distraction. Some of you need to perform a relational audit. Who feeds you? Who drains you? Who teaches you? Who tolerates you? Your life is the reflection of that answer. Every connection is either an investment or an expense. The wise learn to recognize which is which. When you decide to rise, your circle must evolve. The energy that sustained you in the last season may not be enough for the next. Growth requires pruning. Pruning means cutting off even good branches that no longer produce fruit. Some relationships are not toxic. They're just outdated. You've both outgrown the version of each other that first connected. Holding on out of nostalgia is like watering a dead plant. It doesn't hurt because they were bad. It hurts because you've changed. But pain is proof of progress. The higher you go, the smaller your circle becomes. Not because you are arrogant, but because clarity requires quiet. You can't carry everyone to the top. Some people are assigned to your journey, not your destination. Learn to let go with grace. Not every disconnection is betrayal. Sometimes separation is strategy. The space you create by letting go allows new, aligned people to enter. Destiny always replaces what discipline removes. Your circle determines your habits. Habits determine your results. If you want to see your future, study your friendships. Are they dreamers or doubters? Do they discuss solutions or settle for complaints? When you leave their presence, are you inspired or drained? The emotional residue of your conversations reveals their true impact. Protect your energy the way you protect your money. Both are currencies of destiny. Spend them wisely. If you keep people around you who only remind you of your past, you'll never build your future. Stop surrounding yourself with memories. Start surrounding yourself with momentum. Be around people who talk about what they're building, not just what they've been through. Be around those who plan in decades, not in weekends. Be around those who treat growth as normal, not rare. That is the circle that breaks ceilings. The wrong circle will always make you question your timing. They'll say, you're moving too fast. They'll say, you've changed. They'll say, don't forget us. But the truth is, you didn't forget them. You just remembered your purpose. When you start focusing, those who benefited from your distraction will call it pride. But you must stay firm. Let your results speak louder than your explanations. The ones meant for you will understand without apology. Your circle is a mirror. If you keep looking at small minds, you'll see a smaller version of yourself. But when you look at great minds, you'll start seeing greatness within. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your future, not your failures. People who see your potential and provoke it. People who correct you privately and celebrate you publicly. That kind of circle becomes your silent coach. They don't have to motivate you, their lifestyle does. You can tell when your circle is changing you because your appetite changes. You start desiring discipline. You start craving peace over noise. You start finding pleasure in planning instead of partying. You start seeing your time as treasure. That's when you know your circle is working. When your standards rise naturally. The right environment doesn't just inspire you, it refines you. It pulls out the leader hidden under your laziness. Be bold enough to upgrade your surroundings. Stop fearing judgment. The people who mock your seriousness will one day study your results. Don't lower your tone to fit their volume. Don't slow your pace to match their comfort. Walk your path unapologetically. Every new level of destiny requires the courage to disappoint people who prefer the old you. If they can't celebrate your evolution, they were never meant to see your elevation. Your circle determines your ceiling. You can't break financial, mental, or spiritual limits while remaining surrounded by those who reinforce them. The law of association is not emotional, it's spiritual. Walk with visionaries and your vision expands. Walk with victims and your vision collapses. The current of influence is stronger than willpower. You don't just rise by effort, you rise by environment. Choose wisely who gets access to your mind, your energy, your time. The moment you decide that mediocrity is no longer your home, the wrong people will begin to fall away naturally. Don't chase what's leaving, chase what's becoming. Your destiny will always attract its own tribe once you make room for it. Every step toward purpose attracts alignment. Every step away from excuses invites expansion. Surround yourself with those who remind you daily that you were born to rise, not remain. Because your circle will always determine your ceiling.